Hey middle school, I'm Miss Doak. I'm your middle school counselor, and every week we try to have either a live session together or a flipped version like this. And we call this time Mission Possible because we want our schooling at home through K-12 and Alabama Virtual Academy to be possible. So let's get into this. So, first up, how much time do you spend on physical health daily? So some examples would be this. Like brushing your teeth daily. How much time do you spend? Some people would spend like 1 minute. Some people might spend like 8 minutes if you try to time it out and do it for a while. Um, Exercising, sports, or PE. Some people might play sports, so you might have to go to practice for like 2 hours, but most people at least try to get like 30 minutes in, hopefully. What about eating? If you help to cook, maybe you spend about 2 to 3 hours on your food. The other question is, do you eat healthy? And then sleep. Do you get hopefully about 6 to 10 hours? Some people need more than that. So some people get about 10 hours, but a lot of people get like 6 to 8. But maybe you're lucky and you get 10. So basically, like for physical health, we want to look at like our physical activity, our healthy eating, and like quality sleep. Okay, so that's one. Those are a few things about physical health. Now, you might be pretty used to the idea of physical health because you can see your body, you can feel your body, and these are kind of things that people expect you to do. Like they want you to take care of your body because they have to look at you and smell you too. But sometimes we don't really think about like our total health, okay? We don't really care about, do we have a healthy body and a healthy mind? Um, and I really liked this little image up here because it shows not only do you have physical health, but you have emotional health, social health, financial health, academic, environmental, and spiritual. So not everybody has the same spiritual, beliefs and everything, but generally we have all of these factors that really determine like if we are a happy human and we feel stable and totally healthy. um, and so emotional health and physical health go hand in hand. You need to be healthy mentally in order to be motivated enough to do things physically. So I know I've spoken to some of our students this year that they feel emotionally drained and emotionally unhealthy, and they can't even get out of bed during the day. So if that's you, then then I'm talking to you right now. Like we need to focus on having that healthy body to support us, but also, we need to focus on that healthy mind. So today we're going to look at a couple areas that should help us, focus on our overall well-being, like a total healthy person. And we won't get into all of them, but we will talk about the emotional ones and some social and things like that. But keep in mind, if you don't manage your finances well as a kid or your family isn't, that definitely puts a strain on you. Academics, if you're not focused on your school, that's going to put a strain on you and add stress to your life. And that stress is going to cause anxiety, which will definitely have an impact on your whole person. And if you feel like your environmental state is not safe, or you don't have the things that you need to survive, that will ultimately, and we'll look at that in a little while, that will ultimately help you, will keep you from truly being your best self. And then spiritual, a lot of people think that that truly like you have a higher purpose or a higher hope, and so that can definitely help as well to relieve some of your stress or your selfishness, self-centeredness to yourself, so that you're not so anxious. So mental health, okay, this is what people don't want to talk about. Nobody wants to talk about mental health. They don't want to bring it up. But guys, it is as important as physical health when you're trying to have a totally healthy body, okay? And the United States Department of Health and Human Services just says mental health can be defined as how we handle stress, how we relate to others, and how we make choices. Okay, so you might have a stereotype of mental health and think that anytime we bring it up, we're trying to talk about crazy people. And that's not what we're trying to do, okay? We're just trying to talk about how do we have healthy minds to support our healthy bodies, okay? And there are a few ways that we can discuss this, okay? So emotional, that can be so it can lead to success because energy and optimism help people reach goals. So if you're not emotionally able to deal with things, then you're not going to probably reach your goals as easily. So some common conditions you can have with emotional health would be anxiety, mood disorders, ADHD, eating disorders, substance abuse, autism, and there's probably more. And we'll talk about a few of those today. Psychological health, which could be any kind of mental, emotional, social, and spiritual dimensions of what it means to be healthy. Basically, if you are psychologically healthy, hopefully you would have a zest for life, where that just means like you're excited and you're motivated in life, you're resilient, you have coping skills, you have a strong family support, hopefully maybe some friends that you have relationships with and things like that. Maybe we'll talk about that more. And then you have a social well-being. That just means that, you know where you stand with people. You have love, belonging. You know how you feel about hate. You know how you feel about respect, responsibility, dependency, trust, and other similar kind of concepts like that. Also, a social person that has, well, your social well-being, like if you actually were well, you would have social integration, social contribution, social coherence, social actualization, and social acceptance. And we will go over all of those. So just keep in mind that to have all of those, it really will define how you love, how you belong, how you hate, your responsibility to society and to yourself, and things like that. So just how you are socially, okay, to the world around you. So first, let's just look at a few emotional health factors. Okay, so first, anxiety. Y'all, we have so many kids here that have anxiety problems, and that's probably one of the number one things I hear from families when you come to our school is that you have anxiety because you've been bullied. And so that is a huge factor for our youth. What this might look like, after a while would be that you're shy. You kind of avoid people or social situations. A lot of our friends won't go to outings because they're avoiding seeing people or they're avoiding social things. You might have a tantrum or a meltdown because you're trying to avoid things. You're compulsive. Maybe you try to diminish the fear by doing these excessive things. Like, some people have anxiety about germs. So they're compulsively, like excessively trying to clean yourself. All right, so that's one example. So what to do? What do we do about anxiety? Basically, you need to ask yourself, why am I so shy? Why am I avoiding other people? And try to work on that. Maybe tell somebody that you know, like your parent or a friend, or you can talk to me. You can totally always call me or email me if you would like to start talking about this. What fear is it that you have? And then how can we overcome that? You might want to help somebody help you take slow steps to learn how to conquer that fear and to face it. And then slowly you can self-regulate, which means you can start to realize that this fear is not going to control you and that it might not even be like a real actual fear, like something is going to hurt you, okay? And so for parents, guys, a lot of times kids can't deal with their issues alone, okay? If their family situation hasn't changed, it might need to. in order to help. So basically, parents need to validate that feelings are real. If your kid is scared of the dark, I wouldn't just shove them in the room and turn off the lights and say, "Up, you're going to be okay," because that might really make it worse. So tell them, "Okay, I know a lot of kids your age are scared of the dark," and then try to work on a solution. Basically, we need to scaffold the kids to overcome their fears. That just is like when painters have like a scaffold under them. It's just helping them to get higher. That's all parents need to do. You need to just help them to think of a plan and help them get to that plan, and slowly take some of your scaffolding away to where they can become independent on that and they're not dependent on you to deal with their fears. Encourage their efforts and to be independent and confident. So if you see that your kid is taking steps in the right direction to overcome their anxiety, definitely encourage that, because parents, we don't want kids to feel like they have to have their parent to deal with life, okay? I really liked this quote from the Child Mind Institute. Signs of severe anxiety like panic attacks, compulsive or disruptive behavior, or withdrawing from activities, school, or family. If your child's fears seem like they might be something more serious, that's when you might want to make an appointment or talk with a professional if you need help. So basically, if you have these symptoms like panic attacks, withdrawing from activities, or like a lot of our kids, you're withdrawing from school because you cannot physically or emotionally handle going to school. So that's what, guys, we want to help you with that. We don't want you to feel like you have to hide from school forever, okay? That's what we're here for. It's virtual. Let's grow and let's work on that together, okay? Because eventually you have to face the world, and so let's work on preparing for that, okay? Next, mood disorders. First, oppositional defiant disorder. I'm not a pro on these, but I am definitely trying to learn. So I'm going to do my best. But extreme behavior lasting at least 6 months. So that's when they can diagnose someone with this. Maybe trauma can lead to this, or even sometimes ADHD can lead to this. If a kid is being faced with a lot of people being negative towards their behavior for a long time, it can lead to this. Most outbursts will be in a less structured environment, such as home. So maybe kids might not have so many outbursts when they're at school or church or something like that, but when you go home, man, that's when it just breaks loose, because the kids have learned behaviors and learned pathways to getting what they need, and sometimes that's worse at home. Bipolar disorder. This is extreme outbursts and things sometimes, but it's mainly when you have a break in there. So you have mania, which might last for like a whole week to like months, but you have a break usually, okay? To where it's not like a constant state of outbursts and mania. Disruptive mood dysregulation disorder. This is kind of a new one. And basically this is when kids do not have the mania, but it's like a constant state of irritability or like anger and having outbursts, okay? Like they will have their outbursts, and then when they're calm, they're still not calm. They have irritability constantly, okay? This could definitely lead to depression, to be likely for these people, and things like that. So for this, guys, I would say to definitely think about what's happening at home, and maybe start seeing a counselor or a therapist together, and then you can work it out. And I'm not saying that it's a parenting issue. I'm just saying that somewhere, somehow, techniques could be implemented to positively enforce the right behavior, hopefully, or medicine can help. ADHD. We're pretty familiar with this because a lot of people think that their kids have it. Hyperactivity, low frustration tolerance, impulsivity, constant and not episodic. So a lot of people get ADHD and bipolar kind of confused when they're trying to diagnose kids. And basically the difference would be ADHD is all the time, okay? These kids, they want to do what is easy at the moment, and so they might not really have a whole lot of tolerance for like mundane activities, and they might have outbursts frequently. And like we said, they can develop ODD with negative interactions that are repeated. So if they have a lot of teachers or a lot of adults their whole lives telling them they're doing the wrong thing, and they're doing the wrong thing, and they're doing the wrong thing, it can lead to some frustration, and they can start to react to that. And it's very important with conditions like this to learn how to positively reward behavior and encourage it, and not just say what's wrong. So parents, please learn positive behavior techniques to truly help your kid. And teachers too. We have so many kids that come into school with ADHD, and it's frustrating when you have 30 kids in the class to have some with ADHD. I'm not going to lie. But we have to learn how to understand the problem and truly help these kids. I love the Child Mind Institute, and they have this quote. Dr. Anderson explains the connection like this. Kids with ADHD are biologically loaded to be distractible, to be impulsive, and to have a difficulty staying in one place for a little while. So kids with ADHD start off doing things that their parents perceive as off limits. Like, most kids wouldn't do this. And then when those kids get that negative feedback, they start to become even more negatively oriented towards adults. And then these repeated patterns of negative interactions can lead to developing ODD. So we have to be careful to learn how to communicate in a way that is not going to make it worse, but to encourage these people to be the best that they can be with what they have. Children with ADHD or anxiety may find it particularly challenging to manage their emotions and need help developing emotional regulation skills. They don't know how to manage this for themselves, probably because it takes a little bit of work. And like we see here, they're not going to have tolerance for that, and they're going to be a little bit too impulsive. So these kids need help learning skills. So parents, please don't be frustrated. Just help them where they're at. And teachers too, okay? Look past the behavior for a second and try to think about skills that the kid could learn. All right, here we go. So a psychologically healthy person, okay, like we said, they're going to have a zest for life. So some tips for that would look like try eating healthier and exercising to really just regulate your body and distract your mind. Resilience. Accept help and connections from friends or family, and accept that life changes. It's not always going to be what you thought it was going to be. And look beyond the present to see that your current circumstances are not your whole life, okay? Circumstances change, circumstances happen, but it doesn't define your whole truth or your whole life. Coping skills. Like we said, that distraction thing, that's huge for coping skills. You need to learn how to distract yourself, and then it'll help you to regulate. So, find distractions. Grounding techniques, okay? Like, basically you want to breathe, you want to think about where you're at, look for the colors around you, focus on your body and that you are physically okay, and that will help ground you emotionally. Emotional releases. Hey, maybe you need to scream. Don't scream out loud and run around. Grab a pillow or go in a room by yourself and figure out how to release that energy without, really just causing a scene. Self-love. We have a little self-reflection journal that I would love for you guys to use if you want to, and it just looks for positive things every day in your life. And that helps you to be thoughtful. And to dream, guys, think about in your future what you want to be, and look at the whole timeline of your life. Middle school, high school, that's just a little part of your life. after you're done with that, guys, you have the whole rest of your life. So start making goals for the rest of your life, and that will help you to stop getting so stuck in your current circumstances to where you can cope with what's going on. And then this is huge, okay? You need to mend any relationships that you have with your family. Maybe that means you need to set some clear boundaries with your family or friends, but you still might need to do that because you're going to need people to help you every day. You need to appreciate the people that you have or find people that you can appreciate, be positive, and make time for them. And like we said earlier, you have to set these things up for yourself physically to have your whole health, okay? So food, water, sleep. You have to be healthy in that way first to be able to know that you're safe, that you are okay, psychologically, that you have love and belonging, that you can believe in yourself and love yourself, and then you can actually be your best self, okay? And here's a few things about that social well-being to help you get to that love and belonging, self-esteem, and self-actualization, okay? Social integration. You have to get out there and be a part of the community, okay? You cannot sit at home every day by yourself. You have to incorporate yourself into society, okay? And you need to be able to have peaceful relations with people. If you struggle with that, you need to work on it and practice it, okay? To be a healthy adult, you're not going to be able to just sit at home by yourself. Social contribution. A person does his or her part to make a difference. So basically, you have to have some social skills. You have to use caution and try to not hurt other people. You have to volunteer sometimes and help out, like recycle or, help kids or whatever it is. Help somewhere in your community. Contribute. Social coherence. Basically, you're aware of other people and you can help other people. And then this one. Instead of it being self-actualization, like Maslow said before he passed away, now they're kind of saying to truly be a social, to truly have a social well-being, you need to have social actualization. So not only living to your highest potential, but seeing the world around you and saying that we are going to reach our full potential together. You need to be able to collaborate with other people to reach a goal that's larger than just yourself, okay? So, really, if you have a hard time working with other people, that's something to definitely practice, okay? Now that you're, in middle school, you have plenty of time to just take baby steps in reaching out to other people, working with other people, and learning to work with them, okay? And social acceptance. That's not necessarily just about you being accepted, but it's about how do you accept other people? Can you accept when they're different than you? Can you accept that they might believe something different than you? It doesn't mean that you're okay with it and that you're just going to think that everything's right and everything's just dandy, but can you still love them as a person without hating them and being ugly? Okay? Can you have social acceptance? So just a reminder, mental health, guys, is not the bad guy. It's just how you handle your stress, how you handle other people, and how you handle the choices that you have to make. Okay? And here's just our reminder really quick of the different areas. And guys, if you need to write it down and try to Google it and learn more about it, please do. And if you think that there are some things that, guys, you need help with that are on this list, I would love to hear about, what you're going through, maybe why you came to our school, and what we can do to support you to where after school, dude, you can go on to college or you can go on to the workplace and you can be successful because you're not just physically healthy, you're mentally healthy as well, okay? That's what we want for you. So some resources right here. Guys, I use so much from the Child Mind Institute. I would totally recommend that. If you feel like you have any of those things that we talked about, like anxiety or even ODD, stuff like that. If you want to just learn a few techniques on how to deal with that as a family, go to that website. It's so great. And then obviously the American Psychological Association is awesome, and they have this whole section about just building resilience so that you can self-regulate and be okay again and just really regulate your emotions. I would totally recommend that. So thank you for being with me, and you can contact me, and I would love to talk with you. Thanks.